What's up, everyone? I'm Legobulio, and today we're going to take a look at all of my medieval and fantasy factions. You see, over the years I've gathered close to 100 custom minifigures. We'll take a look at every one of them, and at the end, I'll show you all of my mocks and upgraded Lego castle set. We will start with the smallest factions and slowly move on to the bigger ones. To start, I have a few characters that don't have a specific faction. I decided not to include all of them, but here is a few. I included the Knight Protector from CMF 22, even though it's not a custom, because it's already a perfect fantasy minifig. All of those figs are just upgrades of some official Lego ones, but I swapped out the yellow skin tone to flesh skin tone because I think it looks better. Those last three are some of my favorite custom in my collection. They are very simple, but they still look great. The first one is using an Uruk-hai torso and some dual molded legs with the printing removed. The second one is using legs from CMF 27, which match pretty well with her torso piece. For the last one, I used the body and legs of Bard from the Hobbit Lego theme and gave her a short hairpiece. Now we'll take a look at my smallest factions, which only contain 2 minifigs each. The first one is a pirate crew, which for now is very small, but I plan to expand it a lot in the future. For this one, I used parts from CMF 27 with some of my own pieces, and I think the result is pretty good. And for this second custom, I used a torso from Pirates of the Caribbean and some matching parts to create a unique pirate. The second 2 figs faction is a steampunk one. It's obviously very new since I used parts from CMF 27 to make it. I actually had a problem while filming this part of the video. You can clearly see it in this first clip. The legs from my custom fig broke while I was showing it to the camera. To fix it, I took off the legs of one of my Hobbit figs to put them on my steampunk custom. Now that it's all good, I can finally show you what it looks like. Personally, I like it a lot, and I think this torso goes so well with the CMF 27 Steampunk Inventor. There is also this one I made, which is basically the Steampunk Inventor with a woman head and hairpiece. Here is a better look at the brick-built weapon I made for her. The next factions we have to take a look at are slightly bigger, with each one containing 3 figs. The first one are the Tiefling, which I plan to expand a lot in the future, but since the D&D CMF is so hard to find, I only have 3 for now. Then are the Aarakocra. I really like this small faction, and I think 3 is a perfect number for them, so I probably won't expand it much. If you want to learn more about those 2 factions, you can go check out my last video about the D&D CMF. Those 3 are the only green dragon I could make with my parts collection, but I still think they make a nice small crew. This one is a wizard using mostly parts from an old green dragon poly bag. Here we have a sort of werewolf ranger custom that I made a while ago, but I recently updated it with the D&D CMF druid. The last one is a soldier using various parts from my collection, and I think it came out pretty good. If you enjoyed this video so far, consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel. This would really help me out. Now let's move on to my 4 figs factions. Some of them I already showed in some of my previous videos. I showed the dwarves and the forestmen in details in my first one, so I won't be going over them. And if you want to learn more about my witch faction and my custom dragonborn minifigures, you can go check out my D&D video. This one is my yellow castle faction, and I never showed it anywhere, so we'll go over each one of them. I made 2 regular soldier. This first one is using mostly the parts from the Yellow Castle CMF, and the second one is almost the same, just with a different helmet. I also made a king and a young prince with some old custom capes that I made a while ago. This one is probably in my top 3 crew I ever made. Even though it's very small, it looks good. And I think the wolf pack is one of the best Lego faction of all time. This is the chief. I gave him a cloth piece from the Disney CMF and the best Lego head ever, the Dooku and Saruman head. I also made a younger prince with an armor piece from Ninjago and Kylo Ren's head. Then is just a simple soldier, but I really like her hairpiece with the dark red hat, and I think it matches perfectly with the Wolfpack torso. And finally, we have a custom ranger, using a very popular technique for the wolf cloak. The next factions on our list are slightly bigger with 5 members each. We'll take a look at my elven crew first, and then we'll go over my very small and strange-looking undead faction. The elves are made with mostly parts from Lord of the Rings and the D&D CMF, and as usual, I gave them all flesh-tone heads. I made a king and his son inspired by Legolas and his father in the Hobbit movie, and I really like how they came out. I included the elf bard from the D&D CMF, and I also made a custom with the same fig, and I really like how the dark green cape looks on him. The final fig is an elf princess using a torso from Arwen and the legs of Princess Leia with parts from my collection. I made a brick-built bow for her, and I really like how it came out. Now we'll have a look at my small undead faction. I have those two custom that I made with a Thor Ragnarok set and with the Evil Knight from CMF 7. Then is Zastam, which I included because he's just perfect to make a leader for this faction. Then I made a custom ghost with the head of the Fright Knight from CMF 19, and for the body I used a technique that I saw in a Goldfire video. This one is definitely my favorite of this crew. This custom took me so much time, I modified a skeleton torso so I could be able to add minifigures' arms and legs, but I'm so proud of the result. I know the full crew looks a bit weird because the figs don't really match together, but I plan to expand it a lot in the future. Then is my Fright Knight army made using mostly parts from the Vampire Knight from CMF 25. Those three are my royalty member. I have a queen, a prince, and obviously Basil the Batlord. My Basil custom is using the body and armor of the Fight Knight from CMF 19 with the head of the Vampire Knight. My queen is using mostly parts from the Disney CMF and one of those cloth pieces that I made a while ago. I tried making all of my infantry minifigures unique using various parts, and I really like how they look. This faction is also in my top 3 I've ever made. The CMF 25 Vampire Knights parts are just perfect for army building. Now it's time to take a look at my 2 biggest factions. We'll start with the Black Falcon, which is composed of 10 minifigures. As usual, I made a leader and a prince, and for them I used multiple Black Falcon parts. I also made this merchant with parts from CMF 22. This one is some kind of captain using a Nexo Knight shield and multiple parts from my own collection. Here are all the other infantry members. Each one of them uses different parts to make them unique. And now finally we can take a look at my biggest and my favorite faction, the Orcs. We won't take a look at each one of them, but I will show you the highlights. First I have those 4 goblins using mostly parts from the Hobbit Lego theme. Then are those green orcs from CMF 24 mixed with some other figs from my collection. And lastly are those medium nougat orcs inspired by the one from the Hobbit theme. I customized each one of them, and they are my favorite of the 3. This one is using a technique that I took from Sobek Bricks on Instagram. You should definitely go check him out. He makes some of the best custom I've ever seen. His version was a demon, but I think it works perfectly for a goblin. This one is, in my opinion, the best custom I've ever made. Everything is just perfect from the tattoo on the arm to the red capes. It's just too good. I also made a simple orc cook with an alien head from Star Wars. This one is supposed to be some sort of older chief, and this white hair piece was perfect for that. I mixed some parts of the crocodile figs from Lego Chima with the CMF 24 orc to get unique customs. This last one is using parts from Pirates of the Caribbean and the Hobbit theme. Now that we've had a look at all of my minifigures, it's time to take a look at my builds. This first one is probably my favorite fantasy mock I've made. It's a castle for Basil the Batlord and his army, and I think the color scheme looks so good with the black walls and the red roof. This second one I already showed briefly in my first video. It's a mine for my dwarfs, and I think I did a pretty good job. Let me know if you want a video about this mock or any other I made in the comment. Then we have my upgraded Megisto's workshop. The original one was kind of bland, and I only needed to add a few pieces to make it perfect. I upgraded the interior as well as the exterior with a small library, a 3rd floor, and some other details. I also upgraded the forestman's hideout. This one was already pretty good, but I still wanted to expand it to have a bigger fortress. I built a new modular section for the original set. I added a bedroom, a hidden chest, and some other small details to make it more lively. This one is my orc battleship, which I've already showed in one of my previous videos, so I won't be going over every single details, but it's basically an upgrade of an old Lord of the Rings set. This one is a 3-in-1 castle upgrade that I made when I bought this set. Originally, it was just too bland, and I decided to modify it to have a better Black Falcon castle. I added walls where the set was left open, and I made sure to add hinge so I could still access the inside. I won't show every details since I plan to make a whole video on this upgrade. Then I also have the medieval blacksmith, which I didn't change because it's already a perfect fantasy build. I wanted this set for a long time, and I finally got it this year, and it's definitely one of the greatest Lego set I've ever built. And finally, I have the new 3-in-1 dragon, and this one was so fun to build. I usually don't like brick-built creatures, but this one really delivered. That's all for today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, if you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share this video, and for me, I'll see you in the next one.